Well, welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. It is a glorious Friday morning over here. Didn't get enough sleep last night, but doesn't matter because there's actually a lot of things to be talking about today on Bitcoin as we do set up for the weekly close, not just for traditional markets, but also CMEs later today as well at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. So plenty to prepare for with that. Also want to follow up on yesterday's analysis. We did say 10.8 was the big bad pivot to hold, and so far, admittedly, Bitcoin is holding it, but I really want to have a major focus on world markets today. And with that said, there are actually a few major warning signals going on as well. So we'll be talking about that and more. And with that said, I think I'd like to wish you the best and the happiest. Let's also go look at the Krown Chain application over here, which can be found at app.krownchain.net. And what do we see? We do see that open interest still hanging around that 2.1 billion marker. The Bitcoin dominance popping, or not popping up, but coming down actually about 0.25%. So we do still see rotations going on. Essentially, altcoins are rallying versus Bitcoin, while Bitcoin goes sideways for a day, more or less. Fear and greed index has also popped up 1 point, and I suspect that on the data tab, we're seeing things come back into parity, and yes, indeed we are. The global funding rate, while it did triple yesterday, coming back down to 0.02% today. Now, both of those reads are very, very unworthy of attention to begin with. But overall, just there's nothing really staring us in the eyes looking at this tab right here for now. So with that said, we need to go check out the actual price action charts, huh? So going over here and starting off with the daily on Stamp, I believe this is. Actually, let's go to the chart that we were following yesterday. We did say that as long as 10,800-ish holds, more or less I should be bullish on this. That is my rule, and that is, well, that's something that I would stand by, yes. Right now, though, it's the world markets that are making me very apprehensive about this. However, I will still stay true to my rule, but 10.8, while it has been tested multiple times yesterday, has so far held, and realistically, we have the same sort of propositions that I'd be looking at yesterday as I do today. It's just there's more things within the world markets that say, hey, this is really a time to be cautious. And like I did say yesterday, if there is going to be a bull trap on this, if this is going to be, one major fake out to the up, I mean, maybe not so much of a major fake out right here, but a good fake out to the upside before moving back down, this would be the exact area that I'd really be looking for in order for Bitcoin barrels to take back on over. So with that said, 10.8 is still a major pivot. I would really like to see it broken on a 12-hour or daily, and then I'd be looking for a move back down here to the $10,000 base. Until that happens, technically speaking, I should be looking for some more upside. So let's look at low-term time frame momentum oscillators and see if they agree. Looking at 4-hour Stokes right here, we do see that they are technically up right now, but they don't look all that strong. And if we do see them twist back down, that's going to be a damn good indication that we're not only going to come back down to this trend line right here, which is around the edge of the bearish control zone, but a lot of the time you will see if there is a little bit of shakiness before meeting a trend line like that. Typically does break in that same direction. So looking at this right here, that is going to be a major concern as of today, especially with it just getting freshly kicked out of the bullish control zone all along the same path. Yeah, a little bit nasty there. And more importantly, the RSI is giving us some more important signals right now, saying that actually we did have a little bit of hidden bullish divergence right here, but I believe that has already played out. Did call a move, by the way, shout out to Caretaker for this one, from about 10,750 to just under 11,000. So again, that's obviously perfectly hindsight trading it. It's not gonna be that easy. But fair enough. As it is right now, I look at the RSI, hidden bullish divergence on the 4 already have played out, and this is coming back down, getting kicked below the bullish control zone while trending below the exponential on this as well. Not necessarily good things, as it does suggest that we probably do come down a little bit further. Might even look at that as a sloppy. Well, no, I won't even say it. Let's go over here to the 3-hour. I want to see if this one follows through as well. And yes, we do see 3-hour Stokes. Yes, that's kind of the signal that I'm looking for. If you see something like this start to happen on the 4-hour, that's going to be a damn good signal that we will be headed probably below that 10.8 region. But for right now, to be fair, it is still fine, I suppose. I wouldn't really be looking at the 3-hour chart for much more than that. I suppose if anything, we could look at 3-hour RSI, which this is very interesting right here. It's actually calling a little bit of a potential bearish divergence. Now, I would actually disagree with this one, although it is being marked off of this high right here. So I do understand the logic within this one, but still the same way to play this would be below 10.8. It's no matter which way you cut it, 10.8 always keeps on popping up. And of course, that would only be a potential anyways until that area actually breaks back down. So we'd have to create a lower low below this prior traded low right here, which is right smack dab in the middle of that blue box, a little bit above 10.8. So yes, 10.8 continues to hound everything, and I'd feel a lot more. I do think that today we could probably even use a 4-hour below 10.8 to very likely get that next move to the downside. At the very least, it would be get a continuation move, about another $300 down to about 10.5 base. Let's see if the 2-hour agrees as well. 2-hour Stokes are popping back up right now, so fair enough. Good on that. 2-hour RSI. Do we have anything of interest here? No, not really. 2-hour Jewel could be lining up for a sell signal, but still, all of this is not something that I put a lot of weight on, or at least not put any put enough trading on. Looking at hourly, we are coming down on hourly Stokes, not anything too crazy right there. It is just an hourly after all. Hourly RSI is quite literally right smack dab in the middle, but with a slight bearish twist on it. So realistically, the very, 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 very low time frames are not really giving us all that much. More neutral than anything, with a slight bearish twist. The higher portion of the low term time frames, I'd like to say, like the 3-hour and the 4-hour, they are still kind of in progress right here, and I would keep a very keen eye on that 10.8 region. Again, the 4-hour 21 is actually going to be right in that region as well, guarding against what would be that next higher low if you are going to be a bull on this price action right here. So again, technically speaking, as long as Bitcoin is above 10.8, I'm supposed to be bullish off this. That is my rule, but I would not be honest if I did not tell you that I have great reservations for this going out right now. If I'm giving my God's honest opinion, I do think that this does come down, but I still like to see 10.8 broken first, at the very least on a 4-hour closure. 12-hour daily, no questions asked. 4-hour closure, probably good enough as well. And if that does happen, I'd look for a very quick move back down to about 10.5 with a small bounce implied there, and very likely that bounce does just be a bounce and not a reversal, and then we'll head down to about 10.3, the same area that we kind of bounced off of before earlier this week, or 10.350, I guess it was, something right around here, and same sort of thing implied on this one as well. And I'd ultimately look for another move back down to the $10,000 base. The reason why I do say that is because the $10,000 base is pretty much where all the other world markets are at right now. This is the same base that we set in during early September right here, and well, let's just spoil the surprise right now, and I'll go over here to NASDAQ futures and show you that a very, very similar chart did fade the rally all the way up to the 10 simple and the yellow 20-minute exponential moving average on the daily, and came all the way back down to the green 55 on the September base that we see all throughout early September right here. So to me, that is very likely to lead price action, as we have seen that as the dominant trend over a long period of time now. We can look at correlations later if you really want in this one-sided conversation, but the correlations that we saw yesterday, or that we presented yesterday, are, well, they haven't really changed in one day, I'll put it that way, especially when we're looking at this, or what we should be looking at this on a weekly. And I do still think that NASDAQ futures are setting up for a move down to about 10.5. So how could that, affect something like Bitcoin? Well, I do think that, well, especially if we break that 10.8 region, then yes, 10,000 seems extremely likely if that were to happen, maybe over the next week or two. But for now, like I said, as long as it maintains 10.8, I am supposed to be bullish on this. And technically speaking, the next sort of critical area that I want to be aware of on the very short-term timeframes, like a 4-hour, would be this area right here. Actually, we can flip this box down. This one is relevant to a higher term time frame, but we could just put it right here, make this a nice little liquid zone, getting all the wicks from the base set in from August before the big breakdown. We just move these babies down right here. Don't really need to create new ones. I like to have them, nice and orderly. We can also see that the 4-hour 200 moving average will start to align naturally with the top side blue box of this. And where's that coming in around about 11,100-ish region. So Bitcoin does retake that on a 4-hour closure, especially. I would be looking for an extended move all the way up to about 11,350, where I'd be looking for the next sort of short-term pullback once again. And then, like I said, all the same ranges from August of this year essentially apply still, with that being 11,350, 11,550 right here, 11,750 right here, and then 1250 right here, if you want to be super exact with it. So looking at it right now, we're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place, but I do think that it is of interest right now to go over the daily, 2-day, and 3-day, as these do present a more bullish picture. So if I do want to be bullish, this is what I'm looking at right now, and that's really the key of these analyses. If you don't like what you see, just find a time frame that shows you what you do want to see. And as we showed before, there's a very special signal that can make any chart into a winner with just 2 clicks of a keyboard. Anyways, on the daily right here, daily stokes are technically still up. I do see this as problematic though. We are going to be hitting that same trend line that we spoke about yesterday, this one right here. In fact, I would say that we are hitting it today, and that is guarding right against the bullish control zone. So again, if Bitcoin is going to put in a major bull trap right here, I do think that it happens like quite literally right where we are, right where we are right now. Daily RSI has not really shown us anything of particular interest. No trend lines, no nothing, no divergences, no nothing as far as I'm concerned there. Buy daily, if you want to call it that, is going to be closing today. Yeah, today actually. Today at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We did come down and test a 10 simple. Nothing too crazy about that. What matters most is how we close this one. Not actually tonight, but on the next successive one, which will happen on Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this one's going to take a little bit of time as well. But if we do close like this would also look like it's setting up for a little bit more for a reversal. However, if you are going to be Boolah-ish, you probably want to see this one continue above the last, the 15th high right here, probably on this next one. Otherwise, it will naturally start to, well, it's going to start to hit, going to start to hit some strides with looking like a little bit of a short-term top as well. Now, with that said, momentum oscillators are actually pointed north right now, and that's been pointing out for like the past couple of weeks. We have successfully met this trend line right here, which has been holding in the lows ever since December of 2018. That was the low at 3100, right around here. Right. Oh my God, my charts are atrocious. Get them out of my face. We'll take them off right now, but I'm talking about this area right here, 3100, and then a second time on this same trend line right around March 2020. By no mistake, it was this low right here, and then once again, quite literally where we are at right now. So that would be my biggest, baddest bullish thing that I can find on this price action, plus just the fact that Bitcoin continues to maintain above 10.8. So I do, like I said, I do follow my plan for a reason, because whenever I let my opinion get in the way, usually leads me to wrecked city, if you want to call it that. Wrecked city. How fucking original, Krown. Great one. Anyways, looking at the 3-day, do we see anything here of interest as well? Yeah, again, on the 3-day, I would say that this one's a little presenting a little bit more of a bullish case. We did have 3-day hidden bullish divergence right here. I think that would be very relevant to say that that's mostly played out already. And with Bitcoin closing a 3-day yesterday, I believe it was. Yes, indeed, it was yesterday. We have a fresh one today, so there's not really much to be spoken about. A dildo that still is like 1/3, like not even 1/3 within its full life. And as it is right now, where does it show? Critical pressure at 10.8. Once again, actually slightly below with the 20-minute exponential average right there. Anyways, my point is that this is this pivot is coming up no matter which way you kind of cut it on whatever time frame. And more importantly, if we do start to see this close back above 11,000, I highly suspect that we will see 3-day Stokes actually point back up as well. And there probably is a very similar trend line here to what we saw on the 2-day Stokes from the exact same areas. In fact, you can imagine that there quite literally is. We have December 2018 right here. We have October 2019 right here. What was that correlated with? October 2019 was actually this major low right here before a $3,000 pump and dump. Very interesting that actually did catch it. Where's the next one? The next one's a few weeks later after that, in middle of December 2019. Where was that? That was coming out of this base right here for a pretty nice move as well, from about 7,000 all the way to 10 and a half. And then what was the most recent one that we saw right here, March 2020? Okay, that's the same like 4,500 low right here. And then once again, we've actually hit it on this major low right here as well. So those would be the two big things that I am looking for to kind of denote, upwards continuation is looking fine, and we will naturally see 3-day Stokes turn back up to the upside above those levels. Which would not only drive targets to the mid to low 11,000s, it very likely drive targets back up to 12,000. So we're at a very big pivotal point right now. We're going to decide, the next few weeks of price action, I'd imagine, with either coming back down to 10,000 and very likely beyond that. If that were to happen, 9,100 would be certainly within the cards. And to the upside, 12,000 and beyond, to infinity and beyond, as Buzz Lightyear says, right? So with that all in mind, I actually don't think that we're going to see resolution on this today. I don't think that we're going to see a resolution on it tomorrow either. I think that we probably have to wait until next week, in line with the same historical volatility percentile read that we're looking at on the very, 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 very low time frames for Bitcoin, namely the hourly right here, which is actually even a more aggressive contraction phase. Now we can draw this in two ways, right? We can look at this more aggressive one right here, which suggests that we will see a resolution within actually like a day. But that doesn't really speak towards the greater formation. That only speaks towards what we're looking at in this little formation right here. So Bitcoin will choose a resolution between this range, between about 10.6 and an 11,000 high. Very, 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 very likely probably within this next day. So we probably do see a move either below 10.8 or above 11,100 within this next day. But that's not the greater range that is and that can be. That would actually speak towards this contraction phase that's been going on ever since early September, right around here, which would suggest a resolution actually much further out, somewhere around maybe even like early October. If it comes to that. And that range, we don't really actually know the top for it just yet. We do know the bottom is going to be 10,000 or yes, because we already have the volume spike right around here. If Bitcoin starts to top out right here between or around 11,000, then that will be the top side of that range, and then the resolution of that will be implied probably within the next like couple weeks. So that's kind of the way that I'm seeing the short-term timeframes line up with the high and the macro-term timeframes with resolution implied from these specific ranges. So we will, we probably do test to one side of this area today, that being again about 10.6 to 11,000. And then from there, we'll have another piece of the puzzle, but I suspect that it probably won't be fully clear, or we won't have enough real clarity until probably like early next week to really judge where this is likely to go. For right now, I do think that there's major warning signs going on right here, and if I listen to my heart, which is a terrible idea, I do think that it does top out here. But as far as TA goes, as far as my TA goes, it says stay long, at least for now, as long as we're above 10.8. So we spoke about upside targets. We spoke about downside targets. I think that those are hopefully rather clear. Let's go take a look at world markets right now. We're already 16 minutes into this pitch. Actually, maybe not. Let's go check out our secondary charts. Is there anything else of interest right now that I should be aware of? Yeah, this is actually very interesting right here. And if I'm looking at my secondary charts, I would have no problem. It's not that I had no problem, but I would definitely tip the favor in the odds of the blue laws here. We did a couple of, not we, but Bitcoin did a couple of very interesting things yesterday. It not only got its first successful open and close above the 20-something moving average right here. That would be the 16th, so yesterday's closure. But also we did confirm, or will, is that confirmed? I'd say it's pretty confirmed. It technically, maybe, you want to wait for today as well. I think that is pretty much confirmed. I think that that's fine. And I consider myself a conservative trader to begin with. But we also did get a bullish cross of the 10 simple above the 20-simple moving average right here. So that's represented by the cyan and the brown respectively, 10 and 20. And as long as we're above there, which is what is currently hovering in around 10.750-ish region to 10.8, again, no real reason, in my opinion, to be bearish off this. It's just that if we break that, that's gonna be your fucking classic fake out signal. It's gonna be your fucking classic fake out signal. And the next target that's gonna be driven is gonna be the downside of this of the Trollinger bands right here, which are currently curling in around about 9,700-ish region. Looking at our momentum oscillators, we do see MACDs is crossing up and at them. So a couple good things going on right here, and does say it does suggest that upside is more likely. So this is what I'd be looking at if I'm a Bula. Higher term time frames are looking a lot better for Bitcoin, and my secondary charts are looking a lot better for Bitcoin as far as that goes. So again, no matter which way that I cut it, no matter which side that I want to err on, 10.8 still is that is that inflection point. As long as you're above it, I'm happy to be bullish, I guess. As long as we're below it, I'm very happy to be bearish on this. So fair enough. Anyways, let's go over and check out some world markets. NASDAQ futures over here. We already kind of, all right, let's go to our other chart right now. Actually, I do want to see this on the secondary really quickly. Wow, yeah, that actually looks fucking terrible. That looks really bad. Okay, let's go to it right on over here. It's actually almost difficult to figure out which one's which because the prices are so similar now. Okay, maybe not that one. Okay, yeah, NASDAQ just above 11,000. So we did go all the way back down below 10,000. I have been saying for a while now, though, that I do think over the next couple of weeks we will, sorry, not we, but NASDAQ will make its way back down to the 21, somewhere right around 10.5 region. Still, I still kind of hold on to that. Any sort of a daily closure today below pretty much where we are, below 11,000, and yes, I'd feel like we're going to see real not real, but immediate continuation starting with next week down to that 10.5 region. I would be looking for a bounce off 10.5 region. Potential reversal. I think it'd be a little bit premature to be calling anything before that even happens. Extremely likely for a bounce though. So I would, I'd be looking for that first and foremost. And is there anything from the momentum oscillators that is of particular interest? Yeah, we got a nice hidden bullish divergence play right here, but that's already played out for a $400, $500 move. How much more can you expect on something like that? Not much. Daily Stokes are nice and angled to the downside. And how's the weekly looking like as well? Yeah, weekly Stokes are about to crack down below the critical zone right here. And that typically is when you actually do see those momentous drives for these bullish dumps actually occur. This one right here that we saw on end of February was, well, that was that was the coronavirus dump actually, all the way from about 10,000 down to 7,000. That's obviously not going to always be the case. We have an example right here in May 2019 as well. Let's go see what that was looking like. Sir, get out of my face. May 2019, did I say? Okay, why no work? Yeah, this pullback right here. Also got this pullback right here. Got this pullback right here. So it does typically get those nice moves to the downside. And from a percentage standpoint, we're talking on average, that's 13.5%. This one obviously going to be significantly more, 25.5%. This one going to be significantly even more than that, so about 33%. So getting even more aggressive over time. No, it's not the way that works. But we can kind of come up with a general governor for this. So on the lower end, a little bit above 10%, like 13%, which is kind of where we are right now. On the medium, we saw about 23%. Oh, kitchen time. Nope, it's not. That would actually bring us all the way back down to the highs from coronavirus dump, and 30% probably brings us down to the 55 down here as well. So if things really do want to get started, then they certainly can. Also, I am using more conservative settings with this right now, but this would be showing, first off, it's actually showing that we've definitely confirmed a local high right here. I'll also be looking at this as bearish divergence forming as well, with these two highs right here paired up with this guy right here, again driving targets down to 10.5. So I do think that this has another drive lower, and with its correlation with Bitcoin, I suspect that that's going to very likely have an impact on Bitcoin going to the downside as well. E-mini futures for SPYs, same thing. Looks a little bit less like it wants to go down here. Looks kind of like looks like it might set in a base. Not the strongest one of all time, but I do look for the text to lead this actually. Nasdaq very likely does decide direction, and E-mini futures for SPY, as long as we are below 33.75, I am short-term, medium-term, and I don't know about long-term, but I'm short-term, medium-term bearish for sure. Bear for show. I just watched 40-Year-Old Virgin, and it's and I love that scene where he goes, "Yeah, she was a hoe, faux show." Just so fucking out of place. Caught me off guards there, and I had a nice little laugh from that. It was good. Anyways, looking at the weekly Stokes right here, coming down pretty damn aggressively as well. Again, same sort of reads on this one that we saw on NASDAQ. Anytime that we do crack the critical zone, well, you already know where I'm going with this. It's going to line up with this dump, this dump, this dump, this dump. There you fucking go. Anyways, same sort of general targets on this one as well. If NASDAQ does break down, I'd be looking for this one to come back down to about 3,200 base and bounce there. Looking at it daily, we do see daily Stokes are looking to curl back down, actually testing the bullish control zone. So I would say that this one actually has a little more momentum on its side for a downside move in comparison to NASDAQ. So yes, I would say that this is actually a little bit more angled. That's actually not the daily, that's the 12-hour. We do have some hidden bearish divergence, but that's already played out, I believe. Other than that, I do think that, hold on, where exactly was the daily? Yeah, the daily is actually floating a little bit above the critical zone right here, and actually actually technically crossing down right now. And this is the same snaky sort of behavior that I was pointing on Bitcoin's 4-hour. If you see that happen, especially if it gets confirmed later tonight, I do think that we will trade down to those next levels probably next week. Okay, what else we want to check out? Someone in the fucking Discord like harassed me yesterday for not checking out Tesla. Tesla, it's still shit. Hey, it's still garbage. Do you really want me to talk about it anymore? You just want me to tell you it's going to go up, right? Okay, here we go. Do you want me to tell you it's going to go up? All right, here you go. All right, take your left index finger, take your right index finger, put it on the alt, put it on the I. Boom! It's going to the fucking moon, Moosk! Fucking Mars right now! Fuck the moon! We're going to goddamn Mars and terraforming that with Tesla coins! Okay. We will be going all the way up to $350. Weekly does look good for now, though. All jokes aside. It's as if no one paid attention during 2017 Bitcoin. Without comment. Jesus fucking Christ, man. And I'm a Moose fan, man. I like Elon Musk. He's great. But you gotta, I mean, not you, but it's important to not get stuck in the gang like mentality with just, liking a stock because you like the person. Do you like the person? He seems great. He seems like he's doing a lot of cool things. And that's really, really, really respectable. But as a chart right here, it is still an uptrend, to be fair. Probably does come back down towards 350 though. What are the very low term timeframes looking like? I mean, this is obviously not trading right now, but I said the reason why I don't talk about this because there's nothing really to update. I said like I don't know, like a month ago or something probably. As long as we're below 450, I'm looking at this as the ultimate high, like for a while. We're going to see momentum also turn down around here. We're going to see daily turn down, I believe, as well. Actually, it's been pupping up during this more or less sideways movement. A little bit of hidden bearish divergence potentially forming as well if you are taking this one as a closure. However, that is probably not going to work out. That is why it's just dotted and not a solid line. What about the very, very low time frames? Let's look at an hourly. Not much to talk about here as well. If it did pop back up to 450, that'd be quite interesting to me. But as long as it's closing dailies below 450, I am looking for this one to glide sideways and downwards in line with the rest of the markets. Let's go look at Apple. I'm gonna guess the same fucking thing. Oh, what do you know? Same goddamn chart here. Craziness, absolute craziness. And is there anything new to talk about here? Do you think that this one heads down to about $100 base actually? Microsoft, what's Microsoft doing? Actually, Microsoft already around the 21 exponential average. This one looking a little bit more nasty though on a weekly. I'd actually be very concerned about this one. 1, 2, 3 drives of bearish divergence coming off the highs. Weekly Stochs coming down below the critical zone, not good. And also potentially putting a head and shoulders in place as well. Double left shoulder right here, head, and as long as this thing's below 215, that is just a lower high and a proverbial right shoulder as well. So over the next few weeks, if this one does fail to get back above those levels, I'd be looking for this one to come significantly further down towards about 185 region. Okay, cool. All right. So do you still want me to talk about Tesla? just haze you with shit. I should talk good about it as well. I mean, this is still an uptrend to be fair. There's nothing bearish about an uptrend, but in line with the rest of the markets, I do think that it does eventually come down. A lot of people asking about VIX recently as well. The reason why I don't talk about VIX all that much is, well, I mean, I don't understand when people actually like trade this. I know a lot of people trade options on it, but I don't know about this, man. It's a chart of volatility for the markets. So what are you going to make out of that? I mean, you can make a lot of shit out of that, obviously, but you really want to be looking at volatility like per asset and then maybe measuring it against this. But overall, it does look like we kind of played at our highs right here. Does come back down to base. This would look like a pump and dump shitcoin chart is what it looks like to me. But obviously, it doesn't operate like that. We're measuring volatility here, so it's not the same thing at all. This is what you should expect, but it's basically telling us that we're going to go into a contraction phase longer term and probably spend a lot of time being relatively relatively boring, and that makes sense. I mean, we spend a lot of time being relatively exciting. This was March coronavirus dump. This was the last like 2-month straight up pump. So can't hate it, but likely expected to die down, which is in line with our former ideas about general markets. We redlined on historical volatility percentile not so long ago. Very likely to go into a longer term contraction phase for now. So party's over for a bit. Dixie, what's Dixie doing? Dixie says it's time to be bearish right now, or it'd be time to be bullish on all major assets. You know what? That's very interesting. That's what the daily looks like, but the 4-hour not so much. Fuck this, man. This is a weird looking chart. This is a very bizarre looking chart. I'd wait for the weekly closure. But even then, I'm not going to get too much from it. There's two things from the weekly closure that would help a lot with judging overall direction. Either a closure below about 92.70, which we're actually pretty close to right now. So yeah, that actually would look good for another continuation drive down to $92 base. The other one would be a weekly closure today above 93.45, and that would be very obviously bullish. But looking at the very low term timeframes, it looks, I mean, this is the problem with this chart right now. The very low term timeframes, this looks like it's trying to set in a base. This would be a potential higher low right here, and we're seeing this all happen throughout essentially a reset on all major oscillators like RSI and Stokes right there. On a daily though, it looks, if you're just looking at this from a dildo perspective, this looks very obviously bearish. From an RSI perspective, I would say that it looks more bearish as well. And from a Stoke perspective, it looks more bearish as well too. So how does that line up with? Probably very short term up. Daily though still maintains a downside posturing, and I'd want to see how that leads up to the weekly. So I don't really have any calls to make here. A healthy amount of I do not know, and I do not want to. I don't think it's relevant for me to talk about right now. I mean, it's relevant. It's just I don't think that I have a good idea about it. So I should probably refrain from sharing any ideas. Anyways, euro dollar. What do we see here? Short term up, but is that to be sustained? Yeah, similar here too. With the weekly close coming in, I'd probably be taking a look at the weekly. Actually, did a phenomenal bounce here. If it does close here or higher, it'd be difficult not to look for another test towards 119.5 coming into next week. So again, I'd probably wait for another weekly closure as well before talking about direction overall. But it is setting up right now, and right now it's completely sideways. Obviously, if it could close above 119.5 today, obviously that would make me bullish. If it could close below 117.5, then that would obviously make me bearish. But for right now, we're smack dab in the middle of those ranges, and not much to say about that as it is. Let's see, what else can we harass today with words, with verbals? Let's go check out Mr. Buterol. How's he doing? It's 383 trading and looking a lot more healthy on a daily and a weekly actually than Bitcoin. This one does look like it wants to make another run for about 415 region. We did say yesterday that another pop back up towards $400 was likely. We did pretty much get that high of yesterday at 395. So I feel vindicated. No, I don't trade this one, so it doesn't matter. Just stupid ego shit. It does have a major trend line forming right here though, so that is of interest. This one obviously going to get broken, which would imply that we will move up to the next top side of the range, which is probably going to be somewhere within the lower end of the bullish control zone. So that probably does take over. And that would probably imply a move back up here towards 415. So, I'm looking at Mr. Buterol, and Mr. Buterol actually does look bullish to me. So should I be bullish on Bitcoin? Well, as long as you're above 10.8, I am. So there you go. Looking at a very low term time frame, like a 4-hour, looks toppy, obviously. Looks very toppy, in fact. If this thing even closes a 4-hour dildo back below about 377.5, I'd get immediately bearish for a move back down to about 360 and perhaps even beyond back down to 335. So I think Bitcoin's the easier chart to be reading right now, but if I was just looking at Mr. Buterol, that's what I'd say. Looks a little more healthy, but I do not think that Buterol is leading the market right now. I think that Bitcoin actually is. We're seeing rotations overall, but Bitcoin leads rotations, and it goes then it goes by strength. Let's do a quick perusal of all of our other major indices. We got triple Qs right here, closing on the lows. I mean, yes, it did kind of bounce up at the end of the day, but overall, I mean, this is right on the fucking lows regardless of it. Bearish as long as it's below about 275.5. but probably does have a nice probably does try some up probably does try an up open today. UKX England's major Bourse. What do we see here? Still one of the worst major indices I've seen. As of recent times, just continues a downtrend while everything else is making new all-time highs. Terrible, absolutely terrible. In comparison to the rest of the world markets, on a daily, is there anything to make out of this? I mean, this looks like it wants to come back down again. Maybe over the next few weeks. NYA, what do we see here? Okay. Yeah, this one's getting rotated up right now. So there you go. If you're looking for the things that are up, probably in the NYA right now. What about in the Russell 2000? Same thing as well. These guys are getting rotated up right now. So you're seeing rotations right in front of your very face. So while techs and the other market leaders take a bit of a breather, it looks like Russell and NYA are taking the heavy load right now, keeping the markets nice and steady somewhat. Anyways, do we want to check out Link? I did say Link down to 90,000 Satoshis. Did we get there yet? Are we there yet? No, we're not there yet. We got down to 96,463 Satoshis. Is it going to get down to 90,000 Satoshis exactly? Who knows? I mean, we're pretty fucking close already, I guess. Yeah, I do think so, though. Daily Jewel has been bearish for a while now. Telling you to hold your shorts here or get out of your longs on 2nd of September and then do it again on the 14th. Let's see what that looks like on price action. So that would be this one right here. So not the ultimate, not even the ultimate high, not even this high right here, but right here on this momentous drive below 140,000 Satoshis all the way down. Pretty damn good move. And then right again right here as well at about 115,000 Satoshis down to where we are right now. I do happen to think that this one will have another drive to the downside. We're actually seeing historical volatility percentile expand right now. So I do believe that expansion phase comes with some downside pressures on a very low term time frame, like a 4-hour, probably short-term bounce here. Does have some bullish evidence building up. So I do think, maybe another try back up towards 110,000 Satoshis, but overall direction on the higher term time frames. That's goodbye and finish, by the way. But overall momentum on higher term time frames does still turn to the south side. Gold, what's gold doing? 1950. Do we have anything new to update here as well? I want to see the weekly close on this one. This is still unhelpful with where it is right now. If it closes right here, I will have no comment coming into Saturday morning. I need to see something obvious, which for right now it is still higher. It is still higher lows. Still higher lows. Doing some sort of a symmetrical triangle going on right here. So if you are looking at it like that, you're either looking for a break above 1975, implying a move back up towards north of like 2020 or 2030. To the south side, any sort of a daily closure below 1925 is problematic, implying a move probably back down towards 1850 and below. Daily momentum oscillators are looking like they want to turn south right here. What else do we have? Mr. Buterol versus Bitcoin perhaps as well, right around here. And sideways in a range. That's going to be the title of today's video. Sideways in a range. Boring bullshit Bitcoin and company. I think this one's actually setting in a local high right now and probably does come back down towards 3,375,000 Satoshis. So let's go back onto Bitcoin and let's wrap up. Let's wrap this bitch up. We're already 36 minutes into this video. And I really want to know how the quality of this one actually turns out as well. That could be cool. Okay, as long as Bitcoin's above 10.8, I'm cautiously bullish, looking for 11,100 to be the next sort of short-term area to be managed off of. Above 11,100ish region, I do look for an extension of another $300 or so. Or sorry, $200 up to about 11,350ish region, and then again, it's the same sort of regions that we saw from August. So 11,350 will be of interest, 11,550, 11,750, and then $12,050 will be areas of interest to the upside. And above 11,100, I do think that Bitcoin's more or less out of the woods here, very, 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 very likely, with just a general upside bias overall. However, like I said, I do retain major reservations on this market overall, due to overall. Jesus, there it is again. Krown, get a thesaurus and learn English, sir. How annoying is it that I actually talk to myself sometimes? I don't have any friends here, man. I live in Finland. Like people people don't even speak to each other. So I got to talk to myself sometimes. But yeah, below 10.8, which, world markets would suggest that maybe a little more likely. I would look for a quick move down to 10.6, short-term bounce there, failure implied down to about 11.350. Probably another short-term bounce there with failure implied again. Ultimately, I'd be looking for a move back down to 10,000. If 10,000 does break, we can start to talk about targets down to, same areas that we spoke about before, like 9,100. But that's a little bit well and far away, and I expect that we'll at least have another day of trading before, so I'll be able to get another video in before, if that even is going to happen right here. So for right now, I guess cautiously bullish, although 10.8 is still a major area to me. And with that said, I'd like to wish you well. I'd like to wish you the best of the best. The happiest of the happiest. I'll be back on tomorrow with some more video analysis. Take care, and until next time.